welcome to the Body Manual. Today we'll be talking about stretching your quads. Sometimes stretching can be intimidating. So when people see yoga poses, they think, nobody can do it. But really, it takes some time to get there. So when I first started my journey, I'm still not even close to where I want to be yet, but I admit that it was intimidating initially. But I had a lot of tightness and stiffness to deal with, so I'm going to show you basic stretches that you can do and how to progress yourself, okay? So let's get started. So the first thing I mentioned is that your quads and across your knees and your hip joint. If you imagine a rubber band, how can you stretch that rubber band? So if there's a rubber band from here to here, if you go in this direction, it's going to actually make the rubber band shorter. So let me demonstrate. So if this is the rubber band, if I'm going this way, it actually puts your muscle at a slack. But if I go in this direction, it stretches the muscle. So that's basically the general rule for stretching. So I want to stretch this area first. Not a lot of people stretch that area, so it opens up your hips. Okay, some people won't be able to do this right away. I had a really tough time the first time, believe it or not. So you should feel the stretch in this area if you are tight there. As you notice, this is straight. It's not putting the stretch in the quads in this direction, in this end. It's actually stretching this end. So if you imagine the rubber band, it's stretching it in this end. So some people might not have that flexibility yet, and that's okay. But this is one way to stretch. So if you're starting to feel tightness, you can actually just stop where you feel the tightness, hold it there for 20 seconds, and then continue that practice 2 sets twice a day. So the farther or the more you perform this stretch, the farther you'll be able to go. I actually like to take pictures to see my progress because I can't see it until I have the picture in front of me. So there are times when I do post before and after pictures or with certain dates on them. And it's a good motivation. Okay, so do the other side. If you have balance issues, it's okay to hold on to the wall, a chair, something stable. Okay. Another way to do this is if you have a stairs at home or a step at home, make sure you use a bottom step and a rail. So I don't have stairs at home, but I do have a step stool. So that's another thing that you can use. So what you want to do, actually let me show you on this side. So I'm actually just going to bend this knee and my right foot is farther from the step. And make sure that your feet stay flat, and then you'll feel it on this side. Some people, when they perform this exercise, they feel it right away on the calf muscles. And some people who are really tight in the quads might feel it first on this leg because it's actually stretching on this end of the quads. So those are some things to watch out for. Those are actually good stretches to do. Just be aware of what your purpose is. Another way you can do this is if it's too difficult for you, you can actually lay down on the couch and then have the one leg that you're trying to stretch to be off the couch, and then you're allowing this to rest off the couch, and the rest of your body is on the couch. You can also hook your foot on the floor if you need to feel more of a stretch. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do, if that's too easy for you, you can do something called a runner stretch. If you don't have any issues with your knees, this is a good one to do, okay? If you have issues in your knees, obviously you're not going to try to do this. or you know, if you want to try to put a padding or a cushion, that might be a better idea. But if it's painful, do not attempt this. So I would put my other foot in front of me. My knee, my opposite knee is at about a 90-degree angle. And all I'm doing is I'm shifting my weight to the opposite leg, just like this. Try not to bend the back this way. My back is staying neutral. So this is where you can see how yoga poses start, right? So initially I started with the first stretch, and that was enough for me, and I worked my way up, and I'm still trying to work on my flexibility. My hips are very tight. Okay. Same thing, about 20 seconds on each side. I do have patients who have timers set, so I admire that. You can do 20-30 seconds. And you can even hold it longer if you're able. And like I said, do not bend your back. I'm trying to keep my my back neutral, and I'm only giving a little bit of a stretch in the hip, so that I can feel it. Okay. If that becomes too easy, the other thing you can do is this. And then you can reach for your ankle. And if that's too difficult, you can use a strap around your ankle. Actually, let me go get, okay, so I have my strap here. It has to be rigid. You can't use something that's flexible like the band that I used earlier to show you the muscles. So it has to be something rigid. You can also even use a bed sheet, like a thin one or a towel. So as I was showing you earlier, I would probably prep myself first. So I'll tie this around or just make a loop around. I just got this at TJ Maxx, I think, or Ross. So just like this. If this is too hard for your knees, again, I put a cushion. So just like that. Take deep breaths. Make sure that your weight on this foot is even. I'm not lifting my toes up. My weight is not only on my heels or only on my toes. I'm trying to balance, okay? So that's for that. Let me try it this way first. So that's how you can find balance, is to be aware of how your weight is distributed on your foot. Also, if you have shoulder problems, this might not be the best stretch for you. You can probably do this at the edge of the bed with a strap around your ankle. So if I want more flexibility or more stretch, I would put this around my ankle. Just like that. And I'm trying to drive my hip forward to get even a better stretch. I think I was arching my back, so watch out for that. All right. Another thing you can do is kind of a half split, or you can do a pigeon pose. So basically, this one I have a hard time with, but you can see how much stretched out this part of my quads is, my rectus femoris. So for this one, you want to make sure that your hips are aligned. Okay, your hips should be aligned. What they say is, ego is not your amigo, because you don't want to try to get this part down just to look like you're doing a farther stretch, because it's not beneficial for you because you're not really aligned. You see how my pelvis is back more? So then that's kind of giving your quads some slack as well. So it's not really benefiting me. So what I want to do is I want to move this part of my pelvis forward, just like this. And I do have blocks that are not with me, so I would hold on to something, just like that. So this one requires a little bit of a back bend, but if it's too much for you, you can actually put your hands on the floor like this, or even your forearms on the floor, just like this. Okay? So those are different variations. Okay. And my left hip is even worse. So align my hips. So this one, I would hold on to the blocks. And also you can put a block under here and actually sit on it. It's very helpful. And the reason why blocks are helpful is because you have, you're not so tense and you're actually able to stretch your muscles better. So I can, if I have a block here, I can focus on my left hip driving forward without having to try to balance on my knees or my knee. Good, and I feel a little bit of a stretch in my back, so I'm going to lean forward. Same thing. I can try to do this. I can try to do it with the block, or the belt. Okay. So I believe that's called the king pose, or a modified version of it. So again, don't be intimidated to try yoga. I didn't start calling it yoga right away. I started calling it stretching because it was really, really, really stiff. So you'll get there. Just have some patience. Continue to work on staying flexible or not so stiff, so that your body will take care of you when you get older. If you have any questions, please leave me a message. Thank you.